So when it turned back up, you had said I don't think either one of us predicted it would happen in one day.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
was kind of a surprise.
yeah,
But you had picked 414, which was the intraday all-time high previously. I had picked 410, which was
yeah.
the closing of the high. I actually 410 and change or whatever. But how, did you pick the intraday on that all-time high on purpose, or is
Yeah.
there a difference between that and the closing price in your opinion?
Yeah, I was just picking that all-time high for 14 again because it was a big deal for us to break that level. It took 2.5 years to get back. It went down to like 100, and then we finally broke it. Just like what, a month ago, and then I knew that driving it down to that 370 some level intraday, 373, and then bouncing off of it, that'd be pretty easy to get back to the 414 level. And the other level is that if we were in some kind of like longer downtrend, where you'd run some lines from the 480, where things bounce back up to 460, then if you say, okay, if that was some kind of channel top, then we could have a channel top at 440.
Mm.
So and not the 414. So I knew that psychologically people still have 414 in their head, which, trained by 2.5 years of that thing. So there could be some resistance punching back through that level. So on Monday, it'd be a question of, how we open and whether we punch through 414, other news, all that kind of stuff. And then there'll be a challenge at 440 based on this downward trend line and then up. But these new levels, based on technical analysis, have not been ingrained enough in people to
Right,
say, okay, this is a level two boss that we have to get over, right?
right.
Yeah. So
All right. Yeah, that all makes total sense to me. So I had predicted also a couple of weeks ago that the stock would trade in a range from now until earnings, unless there was some incredible news one way or the other. And that does not include Juniper. I mean, Juniper could be incredible news if it included runaway sales. In other words, it burned up the internet the day that it was put back on the web, on the website. But barring some kind of crazy news one way or the other, I thought it would trade in a range of 410 to 480 until earnings. But I did give an exception that it might go back down to 380, and that, of course, is what happened. What do you think about my theory about this range bound trading until earnings, or do you have another theory about between now and earnings?
um, that's a 20% range. So it's a pretty big one, but based upon the unmoored nature. Like previously, the stock was kind of like really held, in tight trading ranges where you had all these different levels, and it would just like only move a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit up and down, and which kind of like a lot of things, but each time it was tough to move through because we've already doubled up. Went from like 220, 240 up to 480. It's there's a lot of um in the tug of war of the buyers and sellers, because that's what the technical guys love to talk about. Tug of war of the buyers and sellers. Now, right now, it's in the tug of war. If people have been in tug of wars, know that okay, sometimes if you're only slowly moving, and then suddenly one side gets really weaker, and then you pull a long way that way and moves a bunch, and then briefly stops and then pulls a bunch. So it shows that the buyers got totally overpowered the bears, and that's why you had this massive move where it doubled up, and then now the bears got some little pull back, right? So it's like you're looking at this tug of war and they have these big moves, right? So the big moves show that um, the market doesn't know where it wants Tesla's price to be, right? But it takes a lot to move it beyond a really big high like 480,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So so there's that was why I was just like, it's like the buyers pulled it and they started running, pulling the other guys along, and then, they got tired, and then that's when the other guys started pulling them back. But then if there's other real news,
Mhm.
then, because they start running because there's a fear on the bear side, hope on the buyer side that we're going to get these big things, China, FSD regulation stuff, which would have massive financial impact. The FSD getting a lot better, where it unlocks the thousands of dollars. So it's rational that the big things coming means that the stock can just like move a bunch. It's not like I'm basing it upon how many car deliveries do I got, how many anything do I got, how much am I moving this thing little as I grind forward on changing the company. If we have a potential complete transformation, just like NVIDIA, 2 years ago before ChatGPT, its stock was being driven down because, hey, the crypto business wasn't going that good. The miners weren't buying as many GPUs, and the gaming systems weren't there. So then ChatGPT comes in, AI, rips, and then all these chip buying AI, and then it goes up 10x, right? I think that's the kind of thing that we're looking at for Tesla, is that the real movement of the stock will come when the stuff we predicted for this year of FSD getting better than human, all these robotaxi licensing, regulatory things, those were the big that moved. But even the small stuff around a new Model Y, new car models, continued really great performance on 4680 batteries, megapack build out, that those things financially move the stock, right? So becoming not a car company and getting those other lines of revenue in will have big financial impact. So there's a stair step up of the reality of the company, and the stair step up, there's a lot of steps, and all those things kind of happen. So in terms of the stock movement, I think trading around 410, 480, bouncing back and forth. I think it's because of market manipulation. That if someone sees with a big amount of money that, hey, I can, because we're kind of like in this uncertain point where the market could be scared into selling, scared into buying, right? Then they'll do that. Oh, it only cost me $1 billion to scare out $100 billion. Let's do that. I'll scare out $100 billion and force a bunch of weak hands to sell down to 370. Okay, now I'll turn it back and I'll buy it back up again, right? So by doing that, they make what? If they like $100 per share or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So until we get a direction, then people will be manipulated by the smart money to buy and sell, to hype and de-hype. And by doing it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's like, oh, you want to give me 25% of my money in 2 weeks? Yay.
That's right. If you happen to be a big fan of the Cybertruck, you might also be interested in this super fun Cybertruck refrigerator magnet and bottle opener. It is made out of super thick stainless steel, just like the Cybertruck, and it has this giant magnet on the back, so it's going to hold a lot of stuff on your refrigerator. It's an amazing gift, and it comes in that great gift box that you saw before that uses a magnet opener, just almost like an Apple box, like when you get Apple products. You can buy it on Amazon for $29.95, or you can buy it direct from me by sending $25 to paypal.me/Randy Kirk, all in lowercase letters. Please indicate whether you want the stainless steel look, or maybe you'd like to have this very clever camo version. And then if you're not in the US, please add $20 for freight. If you'd like more than one, please check the information below to get pricing, as well as all that information I just told you will be repeated in the information below. So once again, think about joining the channel, getting the up-to-date Tesla news every single day. I think you'll be glad you did.